Hi, this is Steve Gregg,
And Pam Lathrop.
and this is the November edition of Beloit Today. And November is one of those months where you make that transition kind of thing, don't you?
Yes. Should we wear spring clothes? Should we wear winter clothes? That transition?
Yeah. I mean, it's, the weather's goofy, the parking lot at City Hall's goofy, I don't know, there's a lot going on. But and the show kind of reflects that. I mean, I'm going to talk to Carol Alexander about elections and being on the city council and what you have to do if you're interested in that.
I'm talking to Jenny Schomber at the library about November events, and I'm talking to Kathleen Bratz also about November and a little bit of December events in the downtown area.
Because this is the month that we have the parade and everything, isn't it?
Yes, we start our dazzling holiday events.
Ooh, dazzling. Okay.
That's a clue.
All right. Well, why don't we head up to the library?
All right, I'll meet you there.
Okay.
I'm at the library today with Jenny Schomber, who's the head of youth services. Thanks for joining us, Jenny.
Thank you.
We're sitting in front of the fireplace. We don't have it lit today just because we're on the conservation track a little bit. They're working on getting some fixes done to the fireplace.
The mechanicals, yes.
Yes, but we wanted to let people know that this is a very comfy, cozy periodical room, and they should come and check it out.
Yes, it is our quiet reading room, so people can come in here and expect what you would expect in a quiet library. No electronics, no cell phones, it's just quiet reading.
It's nice and peaceful. And actually, I'm holding my knitting on my lap today because Jenny's going to talk about the mitten tree, and we just wanted to make sure that people knew that they could come in and, again, donate to the mitten tree to help the children of Beloit.
Yes, it is our 6th annual mitten tree, and what the mitten tree is we encourage people to donate either purchased gloves, hats, scarves, mittens, or even homemade knitted items for children, and we donate those items to local charities here in the area that makes sure that kids get what they need to stay warm in our cold Wisconsin winters.
I think it was last year or the year before that the library had the knitting classes, and I don't think you're running those right now, but you certainly have a lot of books that you can lead people to if they need patterns.
Oh, definitely. We have books and DVDs, and we're hoping to start the knitting classes again maybe in the spring. We're working on that. But, anybody can donate for the mitten tree, and we take donations from now through December 1st.
Great, great. But Jenny also has lots of other exciting things to talk about today. So let's lead into Peter Fletcher, who's going to be a classical guitarist.
Yes, we have Peter Fletcher. He's a classical guitarist. He will be here on November 18th at 7 o'clock. We did have Peter at the old library a couple of years ago and had a pretty decent turnout. So we're really excited to have Peter back again this time. He's amazing to watch with the finger work on the guitar. So it should be a really neat program.
That sounds exciting. And I think you have someone else musical who's going to be here to read a story this time.
We do. We have the Beloit Janesville Symphony Maestro, Rob tomorrow, I'm sorry. He will be here as part of our children's story time on November 21st. It's a Saturday, and that's our family story and craft time. So it'll start out with some stories for some younger children led by Liz, one of our storytellers, and then Rob tomorrow will read The Composer is Dead. It's actually a children's book, and he will be reading that here at the library on the 21st.
And what time does that start?
It starts at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And it goes for about an hour with the stories and the crafts.
And you have a lot of other activities going on in November as well.
We do. We have a Happy Birthday series for children, and in November the author that we'll be celebrating is Astrid Lindgren, the Pippi Longstocking stories. And then we also have our story times. We always have story times Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. And then we've also just started the first Thursday of the month, story time, 10 a.m. for babies. So if you're age 1 or younger, bring your mom or dad or grandma or grandpa down, and we have story times just for the babies.
Well, that sounds sweet.
Yeah, it is. So we have lots going on, bilingual story times, other special events, arts and crafts. We've got just lots going on. So you can always check our website and get more information on the times and the different events.
And let's just run your website by our viewers.
It's www.beloitlibrary.info.
And that is also accessible from the city's website. If you click under the departments, there is a link to the library's website. So there's no lack of things to do here. There never is. You always have a lot to do. And if you run out of activities, you can find a book.
Exactly.
So we encourage people to come in, try to donate something if you can to the Mitten Tree, which would include hats, scarves,
Mittens,
gloves.
everything.
And if you have any questions, please call the library or just stop in.
Yes, thank you very much.
Well, this being the November show, one thing that's on our mind a lot in November is elections. And although there isn't an election in November here in the city of Beloit, someone who's always thinking about elections is Carol Alexander, the city of Beloit clerk. Carol, thanks for taking a few minutes. I know a year ago we were thinking presidential election. It was a very busy time. This November is a little calmer, isn't it, for you?
We were crazy a year ago with the presidential, but yes, we are planning for the spring, and that's what we're talking about now, I think, is running for city council.
Right, and you know, when you hear a lot about elections at the national or state level, and you hear about, you know, you need millions of dollars and, you know, this sophisticated organization to run for city council, and we are going to have 4 seats up for election in the spring. It's not like that. It's a little simpler, isn't it?
To run for city council, you actually need to spend no money at all if you don't want to. It depends how you want to set up your campaign, and how you file your papers with us will determine how much money you spend. If you want to spend a lot, you have more requirements for bookkeeping, and I will help you with that. If you don't want to spend very much, it's a lesser requirement, and I'll help you with that too. One of the good things is we do prepare a packet of information for anyone who's interested in running for council. Those packets are available right now at the city clerk's office, 2nd floor of City Hall, contain all the rules and regulations about running for office in Beloit, about circulating nomination papers. You need between 200 and 400 signatures on your nomination papers. We will go through all of that with you. So if you are a first-time candidate, you don't have to walk in the door already knowing what to do, because we will help you.
And those rules are the same for incumbents who are running, or the anyone who isn't an incumbent and want to run.
And the rules are actually the same on the local level as they are for governor. The money that's available to be spent, the higher up you get in levels of government is greater. But on the local level, the same rules apply.
Now there's some key deadlines. You mentioned needing to get signatures. There's the date by which you have to get those signatures.
On December 1st is the first day a person can actually circulate nomination papers. Only people who are City of Beloit residents can sign those papers. And like I said, we need between 200 and 400 signatures from City of Beloit residents on each set of nomination papers turned in. And we always warn people to get at least 270, 280, because well-meaning Town of Beloit residents or Town of Turtle residents will sign a city paper, and we have to throw those out.
Sure.
So we actually do check all the names and signatures on the nomination papers. Another important thing is people cannot leave these papers sitting on the counter at a restaurant or at Walgreens. Someone personally has to see the person signing, and you could not sign for another person. One signature for one line on the papers. So after all that is completed, the final date to submit forms to us is Tuesday, January 5th at 5 o'clock. A lot of people submit early just in case there's something wrong.
Right.
Then they have time to fix it. And we advise people that that's a good idea too.
So there's really kind of a window there, December 1st
To January 5th.
Yep,
Right.
and that's the time period that you do that. And then if you have the criteria, if you have the right number of signatures, then you're on the ballot, correct?
Right. If you're successful, we then certify to the county clerk that these are the names on the ballot. And in the past, we've had anywhere from the number of people running, which in this case is 4, we might have had 4, all the way up to 10. So anyone who wants to try this certainly can. So once I certify the names for the ballot, let's say it's January 8th, and you change your mind the next week, it's too late.
Right.
Or if someone should unfortunately pass away or become ill or have some circumstance that causes them to not be able to run for office, their name is still on the ballot. So if you're going to make this decision, you want to really think about it and plan, if you can.
Sure,
control
sure.
what you can.
And, this is obviously being on city council is a great way for citizens to get involved in the city. It's a time commitment, a lot of other things involved with it, but there's also other boards and commissions that the city has that you don't have to necessarily go through all this signature stuff to get on. You can just submit an application, and we have those on our website, and they're available through the city manager's office. But so then this will happen in December, and then the election is in...
The election is April 6th.
Okay.
So for anyone who is successfully given ballot access, I will hold a class for them on how to act as a city councilor, how to conduct a campaign, the do's and don'ts of putting ads in the papers and putting signs in your yard. All those things that you see during a normal campaign, those also have rules to go along with them. And then for the successful candidates, I will then give a class in conjunction with the city manager where you go down to the city council chambers, push the buttons, have the camera lights on, and
Right.
get a sense of how a meeting runs, what the difference between an ordinance and a resolution, about parliamentary procedure, anything we can do to help the successful candidate become a successful councilor. We don't have to deal with the big issues like spending money for the city or deciding on planning and zoning, but we can help them with the mechanics of
Sure.
attending a meeting.
Good. Well, that's, and I think we really wanted to just have this on there so people who were thinking about running, or if they know somebody, could encourage them to run. Obviously, as I said, it's an important job, and it's a good way for citizens to get involved.
And I would like to mention that in the past, even the unsuccessful candidates, let's say their name was on the ballot and they didn't get elected, have often commented what a pleasure it was to go door to door in the city, meet people that they'd never met, gone to neighborhoods they'd never visited before, and actually spoke to people and heard what their issues are, if there were any.
Sure.
And they've all considered it a good experience.
Yeah. Well, they say local government is in some ways the closest to the people, and this is probably a perfect example
I
of
believe
that.
it is. You can make a difference.
Yeah. Speaking of voting, I just want to take a quick second. One of the important things that's also coming up in the spring is the census, and that matters to all of us for a lot of different reasons. But from the clerk's perspective, I know you use those census data, that information, those population counts, to determine voting wards, right?
Every 10 years after the census is taken and people are counted, and let me put my pitch out there to please answer the census forms and please be counted. It takes you 5 minutes and you'll be done. Then we redistrict all the voting wards. It starts at the county level with the supervisory districts, and then it comes to the ward level. So every voter in the city will receive a postcard in 2011 with their polling place information on it, if they're currently registered to vote. Sometimes people get a little concerned, wondering why they voted one place for 20 years and now they're going to vote across the street or at a different school.
Right.
It's all based on the census. So it's not a negative. You still get to vote. You may just go to a different place, or you may stay in the same
Right.
place, but be sure to fill out those forms.
But the idea is that as the population maybe shifts, you want to keep roughly the same number of people in each of those wards, right?
Right. Each ward has between 600 and 2,100 people in it. And then we actually take a huge city map and draw the lines all the way through the city, the lines that make the most sense with those population centers in them. So yes, as the neighborhoods shift or don't shift, that's how those lines will be
Okay.
drawn.
So that's one reason the census is important to the clerk's office, right?
Well, and we depend on that data. That's
Yep.
correct.
Good. Well, I think the important thing is vote in the census, vote in the election in
Right.
April, and if you're interested in being a city councilor, call Carol in the city clerk's office. Why don't we just get your number? So.
Sure. The number at the clerk's office is 364-6680. We're on the second floor of City Hall, so if you happen to be up there for another reason, stop in and we'll go over the packet with you, and you may or may not take it. It's totally up to you, but we'll help you through the process.
Okay, and I guess I'm a full supporter of democracy and voting, but I'm glad that you have this November off from a presidential election.
We are too, because we get caught up with all the things we don't do in an
Sure.
election year, so
Yeah,
it's a good time.
All right. Well, thanks, Carol, for taking a few minutes.
You're welcome.
And Pam is going to talk to our next guest about holiday events.
Kathleen Bratz is with us today to talk about some of the holiday happenings downtown. This is one of my favorite subjects. And Kathleen is here as the Executive Director of the Downtown Beloit Association. So thanks for being with us today.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Like I said, this is practically my favorite time of the year, going into November and December and all the holidazzle and the parade. So let's tell us, first on the topic is the parade, right?
Absolutely. And you know, one thing that's interesting that actually precedes the parade is we hang hundreds and hundreds of holiday lights downtown. Twinkling lights throughout the downtown. We have volunteers that come together to make those workable to be able to hang up and do the maintenance needed. And we're really proud of that because we like lighting up the streets for everybody to enjoy throughout the holidays. And our boutique shops and all of our businesses go to a lot of effort to light their windows as well and do really spectacular displays. So that's something that people can enjoy too. And then we have these two events that are very close to each other, but really allow the community to come enjoy our downtown in different ways. The first one is the parade, which I just love. It's so much fun, and it's very special, and it's a unique parade. It's different from any other that I know of, especially in the area, and it's always on the day after Thanksgiving.
And that's not what makes it unique. What is it that makes it so unique?
What makes it unique is that we have had just a spectacular surprise every year, and we have a great gift of having somebody show up.
Oh,
Yeah.
someone jolly?
Yeah,
Someone jolly.
jolly, and he comes and he's usually appears on a rooftop.
Oh,
And
I
he
can't
comes.
imagine who that would be.
Well,
It's not Steve Gregg.
no.
Okay.
Although we encourage Steve Gregg to be here with us.
But what else makes that parade unique is that it's at night.
It's
I
at
think.
night, and it's a lighted parade. People can gather around 5 o'clock downtown near First National Bank Plaza because we have this big, beautiful tree that, by the grace and miracle of our jolly friend, is lit that night. So everybody gets to be there when it lights for the season.
And everyone gets to participate in the countdown to that. So
Absolutely.
Bring the children
There's
to that.
usually some singing involved and just a lot of fun. So that starts it, and so say 5 o'clock, around 6 o'clock is when we have the big surprise and we light the tree. And then at 6:30, the parade kicks off. So there's a nice progression to the event. The parade itself starts it's along Grand Avenue. It's from Bluff and moves all the way to Horace White Park. So it's moving east along Grand. And so people can make themselves comfortable. We have hundreds and hundreds of people throughout the community and the region that come and join us. We're always the first parade in the area, so it's a great reveal for a lot of floats. We have they've just gotten more and more creative over the years with their lighted floats, and so dozens and dozens of floats and music. And so
I know you said you had lots of volunteers. If people want to volunteer, can they contact your office?
absolutely. Our office phone number is 365-0150, and we encourage you to join us. We need a lot of help with barricades. It takes a lot of people to put this event together, a lot of very committed, dedicated volunteers. And that's important to note because there are a lot of teams that are putting this together, and it's a really large geographic space, so we need people that are helping with the floats coming in and managing that. We have a big team that does that. We have a big team down at First National Bank Plaza. We have all of the barricades, and we want to make sure everybody is safe along Grand Avenue, and that we have those manned and are keeping traffic off of the street where the parade's going to be. And then at the end of the parade. So it takes a lot of people, and we're so lucky because so many of our volunteers come back year after year and dedicate their time. It's the day after Thanksgiving, so it's a time when a lot of people are with their families, and
Well, they can make this a family event.
absolutely, we encourage that. So
And then what's the next exciting event that you have planned?
exactly 2 weeks after the parade, we have a very different event, and it's Holidazzle. Last year, we had over 90 artists and fine crafts artisans join us in over 40 locations. I believe we had 42 locations last year. And we basically have many events, smaller events at each and every location. There's live music, there's there may be a guitarist playing at one with someone who makes raku pottery. There may be a live demonstration like neon blowing. Jeff Cohn comes often and does that for us. Austin's Barbershop in the past has had a barbershop quartet, or you might walk into another business and have a gospel group singing. I mean, it's just very, very special, very festive. Santa visits with children that night at Turtle Creek Bookstore. We should back up and say at the parade, Santa will visit with children around 7 o'clock at Turtle Creek Bookstore. So that's always pretty special. And there's just a very unique setting in each business, and we have a map and a trolley, and so you get whisked door to door or block to block and get to go in all of these great places that are really wanting to host and welcome and receive the community in their doors. So it's a great way to get to know our businesses as well.
And it's just such a wonderful atmosphere on the street. People are happy, people are talking, people are greeting each other. It's really a fun atmosphere. And it doesn't just take place on Grand Avenue. There's little venues all over. It goes down to Beloit Inn, it goes down to State Street.
Yeah.
Is that the museum going to be open again?
You know what? I hope so. I believe so. We're at the point now where we're getting everybody lined up to join us. We always have a map.
Wonderful.
And then the trolley runs the entire route, especially for the locations that are just a little bit further out. We want to make sure people can easily get to it. And, it's also very much, it's festive, it's social. Yes. It's a celebration of the arts, yet again in downtown Beloit. When you talked about the camaraderie and meeting people that you know in the community, it's very much about Beloit. It's that sense of community and the spirit of Beloit, celebrated. And then it's a great shopping event.
Yes.
Shopping at our boutique stores, having a little hot toddy, at the pub, at Cafe Beloit. And there's a lot of live music venues afterwards. There's about 11 of them last year, I think, or after hours 5, we had at least 11 music events last year.
Now, if people want more information on these events, do you have a website that they can go to?
Absolutely. Okay. Our website, and it's a new website, so we're really pleased to encourage you to visit it. It's www.downtownbeloit.com.
Okay, so please join us for these events. I know you'll see your friends down there. How can you help it? There's tons of people that come and just enjoy the whole atmosphere of the parade and the holidazzle. If you want more information, you can call Kathleen's office or get on their website. I know, like you said, you're going to have maps, and I know that the shops downtown will have information also.
Absolutely. There's posters all over the place. There's the maps will be out that night, so you can, and the newspaper also covers it very well, so you get a sense of how many artists, where they're going to be ahead of time.
Great. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Tell us about your festive holiday season that's coming up, and we hope to see everybody there.
Great.
Hi, I'm Martha Mitchell from Visit Beloit to tell you about Visit Beloit's portion of the Beloit Today Show. You've just heard about Holidazzle and the holiday parade from Kathleen, but there's lots more going on in November. November is really one of our busiest months, believe it or not. The Buddy Holly story is happening at the Ironworks at Theater Works from October 30th to November 15th, so you can still get tickets for that. And so call Beloit Theater Works or check out our website for times and dates. Also, Grease is coming to the Nice Theater at Beloit College. That's one of the most fun shows, and I'm sure with the college students performing it should be a blast, so you don't want to miss that. Call the theater box office at 363-2755 to get your tickets for Grease. The Bushnell Wheeler House has their holiday open house where they decorate the whole house for the holidays. Bushnell Wheeler in South Beloit is beautiful. So call them, and you don't have to make a reservation. It's free to the public. Just go down and check out some of our history and the historic homes in this area. Also, the Symphony is having their second performance of the fall, and that's on November 14th in Janesville and November 15th in Beloit. It will be at Eaton Chapel on the 15th, and they have a soloist, Esther Lamech, and it's a tribute to the supporters of the BJSO. So you won't want to miss the symphony, which is always outstanding under the direction of Rob tomorrow. You can call the symphony office to get your tickets. Season tickets are only $75 and you get to go to all of the performances. So check that out too. Also coming up, the Angel Museum. This is their second annual Italian dinner at the Angel Museum. It's a wonderful, it's called Annual La Cucina Italian Dinner at the Angel Museum. They actually serve dinner in the museum on the museum floor. They have special cooks. They'll have special entertainment. It's a beautiful night. So call the Angel Museum to reserve a space for November 21st for La Cucina Italian Dinner. As I said, there's lots and lots happening. The Hanchett Bartlett is also celebrating with a celebration of Christmas trees on November 27th. So every weekend there's something to do. How do you find out? Visit our website, visitbeloit.com, or give us a call at 365-4838 and take in these last few beautiful days of fall, whether it's on a golf course, down on the riverfront, or at a pumpkin patch or an apple orchard. Just enjoy the great weather we have left. Sometimes November is our best month, and we'll see you at some of our events this fall.
Well, after listening to you and Kathleen, I think I probably ought to start thinking about some holiday shopping.
Well, yes, there is that. But, you know, you can wait until December and do it all downtown.
That's a good idea. Oh, thank you. Yes, I should do that.
But don't do it all downtown, because we still do have a lot of other stores in Beloit that
Right.
would love to see us in their retail aisles. And
I
there's
don't
plenty of
think I'm
merchandise.
going to take that first day after Thanksgiving, though, and head to the store at
No?
3 in the morning like some
Oh,
people
fun.
do, and try to
That's
get
a
it all
bargain.
done by 8.
There are a lot of bargains to be had the day after Thanksgiving.
It doesn't work that way for me, I'm sorry. But it is kind of nice. I will confess that I have already, was it like 2 Saturdays ago or so, when there was a little snow that came down, I did listen to a little Christmas music.
No.
Yes, yes, just to get in the holiday spirit. But anyway, it is a holiday time for a lot of people, a lot of different holidays. So I guess that kind of wraps up November. I guess we got to start thinking about December.
You know, we have been thinking about December a little bit, and we would love to have Martha Mitchell come on the show for a little Martha Mitchell hit parade.
Through the years with Martha.
Yes. She's been here for so many years, and she's done just a marvelous job, and we sort of don't want her to go out without a little...
Well, one of the things I might like to ask her, she's a very professional person who's done an excellent job, but my guess is there might be 1 or 2 little stories from those years, as she was about to lead a tour group and, something happened, a building was locked, who knows, something like
sure.
that might be kind of interesting, not
sure.
to put her on the spot. So we'll work on that, okay?
Yes, and I would also like to ask her what's her favorite filming location, because you remember Martha always got the
Yep.
coolest places.
She did.
Green beer at Suds and sitting in Santa's throne. And
That's right. I forgot about that. We'll ask her. Okay. Maybe we can do a little photo montage. I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
One thing, since we have a few extra minutes here, is at the end of the show, we're going to show just a brief public service announcement for the United Way campaign. And there's so many people that benefit from that, and we have a couple different films of some of the folks that have benefited and some of the agencies. And this is the time of year with the holidays we think about giving and helping, and United Way is really one way to do that. And,
most definitely.
Yep, and there's some information in the video about how you can help, I'm sure, either through an organization that you might be involved in or a place of employment or just generally hearing about it. You know that the campaign's going on and there's lots of different ways to give. So we'll end with a little commercial message for United Way. But in the meantime, Pam, thanks for the show and thanks to the staff for Access TV. So for November, I guess this is Steve Gregg
And Pam Lathrop.
for Beloit Today.